All right, hey guys, Michael here with Daryl French. Today we are discussing a major topic. Are the mortgages all the same, and is the interest rate the only important thing?
No, mortgages aren't all the same. And it's funny, over the last decade, we're talking about this. Over the last 10, 15 years, as interest rates have kind of slowly, on average, gone down, all of a sudden people haven't been as worried about the small print in mortgages, and they've just been focused on interest rates. And don't get me wrong, interest rates are important. The best interest rate you can get saves you money right up front. But the small print in mortgages can also save you literally thousands of dollars. And I think this gets overlooked quite a bit. Just to give you an example, we haven't done mortgage assumptions. So when people assume or take over an existing mortgage, so if somebody's selling a house, I just had one the other day, they've got a mortgage rate of 2.09%, they're selling the house, current rates are up in the 4.5%, 5% range, they can sell the mortgage with the house because the clients weren't buying again. That's a great opportunity.
So, Daryl, what would be the three top things you would say that are most important when you're looking at a mortgage?
Three top things would make sure in today's market that your mortgage is assumable, okay? So that someone can take it over if you sell it and aren't buying a house right away. Second thing is make sure your mortgage is portable. A lot of times people buy a house and they think it's their forever house. All of a sudden they realize maybe they don't like their neighbors, or they don't like the schools there, their job changes, they've got to move. Can you port or take the mortgage with you from one house to another, avoiding paying a penalty? And then the third thing is, what are the penalty calculations? How does the lender calculate those penalty calculations? There's two very different ways lenders calculate it.
That's the small print.
That's the small print, and it can make a $5,000 penalty $20,000, and those are legitimate numbers, right?
Yeah.
And so knowing that small print can make a huge difference up front.
So what are the two the most common options for the penalty? How is that being calculated?
Well, it's quite a detailed formula, but one is based off the discount that you got on the original mortgage. So on a 5-year mortgage, if you got 2.5% discount off it, then when you pay out your mortgage, say with 2 years left on that 5-year term, they'll take that same discount off the 2-year rate when they're calculating the penalty. That creates an enormous penalty, okay? Otherwise, the proper way, in my opinion, is whatever the rate is at the time. So if the lender can't put the money back out at the same interest rate, then whatever they can put it out, the difference. That's a fair way to calculate it, and that reduces that penalty substantially.
Right. So if someone wants to find out more about the penalties and how to set up the mortgage properly, how they can get a hold of you?
Give me a call, Daryl French, 250-470-8843. And I'm happy to chat with you, talk to you about your existing mortgage, talk to you about renewing mortgages. People are always surprised when I tell them, whether the mortgages are portable or assumable. Less than half of the mortgages today in Canada are portable and assumable.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's not like back in the old days, it used to be 80-90% of them would be portable and assumable. Today, less than half of them are.
And would you have a number of how many people end up paying the penalty because they end the terms before the due date?
Yeah, so the stats we have on that are just over a year old. So, but at that point, it was just over 60% of people didn't make it from the start of their mortgage to the end of their mortgage and broke their mortgage and paid a payout penalty of some kind. So it's over half. Right? So it's a substantial part of people. And it's for lots of reasons. People have to move again for work, so they get a promotion and they have to move cities. Divorces, unfortunately, is a big one. Things like that. Kids going to university, people changing locations, all those kinds of reasons. People are changing their homes.
Right. So that's obviously a very important aspect, and I see that all the time when people are thinking about selling their property.
Yeah.
We always need to double check what that looks like and how much it is, so we can really make sure how much they're going to end up at the end when all the payments are done. So, and as you mentioned, we've seen some that were over $20,000
Oh yeah,
penalty.
we've seen quite a bit of that.
And then obviously that's coming out of their pocket, right? Because
that's equity you don't have for the next house.
Exactly, and right, so that lowers your basically, as you say, all the down payment, how much you can afford on the next, right? Especially if you bought recently in the last 2 years, that would be a big amount. So let's summarize it. So when you're looking into mortgage, you want to make sure it's portable, it's assumable, and that
good penalty
you know about the penalty and how that is being calculated. So Well done. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll be back next week with more.
Thanks a lot.